Okay, so first things first, I needed a body to work with. The file provided for the camera was a mesh file, so I imported the mesh, just create a new file, insert mesh, and then when you bring that file in, you can basically, hold on, you can basically clone it just by creating sketches, uh, overlay the geometry, tracing the geometry of the mesh through your sketches, and you end up with a basic body. So there's details you obviously don't need, like I don't need this little lens retainer thing. So I just kind of made a cone shape to cover that up. And I'm thinking ahead about what the inside of the mount is going to actually need to fit the camera. So, you only need basic geometry for that. So once you get that done, position it. So I got the 45 degrees right here. And then start from there. I did a sketch back here and an offset of this perimeter. I think I was doing everything 1.6 millimeters, just basically a multiple of a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. So you got to think that you want you want to create a shape that you can cut the camera shape out of. So by doing this offset here, you can come in. Okay, you can come in here. Let's take the camera away for a minute. You see you can extrude a box out. Extrude it out to the length of the camera. Now I want to do a new body, and I want to make sure, well, I can leave the camera highlighted if I select new body. Anyways, select OK, and now you have two bodies. You have the square you created and the cam inside. Okay, now I want to cut away the camera from the outside shape. So to do that, you use the combine tool. You select your target body. The target is the body that you want to cut. Okay, so I'm going to change the operation to cut, select my target body, and then select my tool body. The tool body, obviously, the body that you use to cut away from or cut away with. Okay, keep tools because I want to keep the camera. I don't want it to cut away and disappear. So now I can deselect the camera and I have what's left over. Now this is just left over from the screw hole that goes all the way through. So that you just select it and hit the delete key, and now you have your basic body. Next thing I did was create a sketch here, offset this circle 1.6. Now I want to come in and take away some of this material. So basically I came down to just where I can't see any space there from the camera. You can see this opening here. You obviously don't want to see that. So you come up, and then I just added a few extra millimeters just to give it some absorption here. You can kind of highlight the inside there and see how much space you have. If you really want to, you can come in, select this face, and then you can see you have almost 2 millimeters at the smallest distance. So from about here to here is about 1.7 millimeters, so that's plenty. Next thing I did, I believe I came in with a fillet here, probably 2 or 3 millimeters. Probably 3 won't fit. Yeah, so 2 millimeters. Then I come in with the fillet here. Just play with it until I get something I like. Okay, so now you have the very, very basic shape. Next thing I did to get the cone is you need to do a loft. So you can't loft off of a face with a hole in the middle of it. So I believe I did a sketch here, and then you just extrude this circle here, -2 or 3 or whatever you want. Just create a solid face here to work from. And then, sorry, my radio's going off. So from here, you're going to do an offset plane. You're going to do, I think I did 3 millimeters here. Create a sketch on the plane. And you have to just kind of play with it. I chose a few different numbers until I settled on around 25 millimeters. And even the offset of 3 millimeters, I think I did like 5. It was kind of too far away, so I settled on 3. So now you can use your loft tool here. Okay, so you want to select this face and this new circle of your that you created on that new sketch, which was offset 3 millimeters from the face. So that gives you your cone shape. Come in with a fillet tool here and just get something you like. I probably settled somewhere around here. Next thing you do is come in here with your extrude, bring this opening all the way back out. And you see now you can show your camera. Come in with the chamfer here until you get to the lip of the edge of the lens. 3 millimeters looks pretty good. So now you're starting to get the shape that you want. I think I came in here and did probably like a 0.5, maybe a 0.75 millimeter. Yeah, because that looks pretty good. Fillet here, maybe here's a 1 millimeter. Yeah, to give it a nice round edge there. And then I probably did 1 here, maybe 2. And yeah, that's starting to look really good. Nice and smooth, pretty organic with the fillets here. Yeah, that's nice. So let's come back in and let's add in those supports here. So this was kind of a challenge. I ended up doing something like, let's see. Yeah, so I created a sketch way back here. But what I could have also done was just offset a plane and bring that plane up to about probably this line here. Yeah, so that'll work. And then I can create a sketch on that plane. And now, since I have this blank sketch with no geometry on it, I'm gonna need to project some geometry. So I need this face. Since I didn't create the sketch on this face, I can't use these lines in my sketch. So what I have to do is project the geometry. So you use your project command. And since I'm in the sketch I just created, which is way up here on this plane, here, let me show you. So see, I have a sketch on this plane here, and the geometry I project will automatically project to that plane. So basically what that does is it gives you some geometry to work from. Okay. And so now I can drop some sketch lines in here. Okay. Okay, so those are some sketch lines. Let me hide that plane. I don't need to see that. And then I come in here and drop some lines here. I'll mirror these across the center line here. Give these a dimension of 3 millimeters. I think I settled on. I tried 2. It seemed a little bit small. 3 millimeters. And then you can, I believe I'll need to offset. Well, here I'll get to that in a minute. So let me show you what this would end up looking like. So now you can hide the body, select these edges here, and extrude these out. Okay. Now the problem with this is now I have this space between every single one that I need to fill in. That's all right. I can add to that in a minute. So let's go all the way up to where, yeah, see, that's good. It actually lands right in there. Click join. Now you'll see how I had to play with this lip. I'm remembering how I did it, but the first time I think this lip was maybe too small or way too big or something. So I ended up going back and editing this. I edited the plane. I edited the sketch, the circle that was 25 millimeters. I might have made it bigger or smaller. So sometimes you have to go back and play with it. So anyways, I need this to actually fill all the way in here. So I can go back into the sketch. I can offset this plane in the negative direction. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Offset this plane inwards. I guess it's not negative this time, but I'll bring it in. Let's just try 1 millimeter. Okay, and now let me edit this extrusion to include this little extra space I have here and see if that's enough to hide that gap. It looks like it's not quite enough. There's a tiny little space. So we need to edit that offset. Let's do 1.25. Okay. And I think that probably did it. Ooh, not quite, it looks like. Oh yeah, that did it. So I mean, that's basically it. And then you'll see here that since I had to extrude it so far to get it to hit this lip, it also extruded in here. But that's easy enough to get rid of those. You can just shift select, multiple select the majority of the faces. You don't even have to get all of the faces. And then hit the delete key and see it knows what you're trying to do. And then that only deletes those lips, what's left over. It doesn't delete the whole thing. From here, you just come in and add some fillets. I think I did 1 millimeter. Yeah. Come in and add some more around here. Probably maybe 1 millimeter again. Yeah. And that looks pretty good. So there's your basics. You can come in here, add in your 2 millimeter hole. Two sides. Bring this one out to here. Yeah, and then all you got to do is like, I mean, this one body here I could reuse over and over for multiple frames. You come in from the top, create a new sketch, and then drop in your standoffs. So standoffs basically 5.5 millimeters. You're gonna drop in another circle over here. 5.5. See, this is the issue I was having the first time, was I was spacing these at 28 millimeters apart right here, and it turned out that they were more like 26 and a half. So you come in here, do an offset 1.6. I just like to use 1.6 just because it's a multiple of a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. 1.6, and then you can just extrude these up. So I'll do 15, and then I'll do symmetric, so that's 30 millimeters total. And that's basically the spacing I have. Those are the standoffs. That's the spacing for the frame. You can see where the camera would overlap, and then you could just use the combine command to combine these, and then start adding more fillets, keep playing with it. So just remember, the most powerful tools for doing this type of work is your offset plane. Okay, you need that a lot of times to work. It's hard to it's hard to explain it to work. If you need to match geometry, but on a different, like spaced away from the actual geometry that you're trying to match, you offset a plane there. I mean, yeah, hopefully that helps.